With the sponsorship we have received, we will be giving the meaningful prizes to the winning schools, both the provincial level and national titles. The participants also be rewarded accordingly. With the sponsorship we have received, it has been actually great months of preparation, especially hosting the meetings with the principals, head of departments, English teachers in all four centers, and we are overwhelmed with the support working in partnership with the schools to ensure that the debate competition is successful. We encourage the schools and the children should take the ownership of the competition and see it grows to bring the best out of the young leaders of the future. Remember that it is everyone's win. Whatever the outcome you are the winners, and we salute you for your courage, confidence, and steps in embracing this competition in the name of the development. On the stage, you are going to actually battle it. When off the stage, all you are going to be friends. This is the beauty of this competition. We have witnessed this one for the last 2 years till now. We would like to congratulate all the schools, participants, teachers, and wish you all the best. Enjoy the competition because it is yours. I am sure that it is going to be very exciting week. Thank you once again. I once again welcome everyone who are presented here and wish you all the best, students. Thank you.
Mr. Sadiq Ali, who is the director of the Institute of Business Studies. For our keynote address today, I'd like to make welcome the Governor for NCDC, who is also one of the sponsors of our debate today. Please make welcome Honorable Powis Pako.
Thank you, Mr. Marai, Mr. Nick Magnatis of IBS, Mr. Sadiq Ali, Director of IBS and Coordinator of our school debate competition 3 years in a row. Mr. Ian Tarati, our CEO from NES Fund, and may I also acknowledge the other sponsors who are not here, but I have put the hands up to support this wonderful initiative again this year. All our participating schools in the city and central province, your teachers who are here with you, and our judges, and of course through the nation via Kundu 2, Mr. Marai and his team. I'm happy once again, 3 years in a row, to be launching our school debating competition. This competition, as we have heard from Mr. Ali, is getting more popular and getting better and better. And the standard of debating is improving all the time. So I want to congratulate IBS again for coming up with the initiative, and the previous sponsors for continuing to support it in the last 2 years. This year it's grown bigger, going up to Enga province. So that's very good news indeed. And we also have other sponsors who are coming on board. NES Fund coming on board, Office of Climatic Change, Electoral Commission, and other sponsors that I have not been able to mention this morning. But this is all good towards a very wonderful program that continues to encourage our young people, all our children in the school to build their confidence, build their knowledge about subjects, and help them with their learning process while they are in school, and the individual students who will be participating. Corruption also continues to be something that has been around our country a favorite topic all the time. Last year there were topics about corruption. How do we stop it? And I'm sure it will be another, might be another topic that might be formulated in the debates. But I want to encourage you all, young participants who will be participating, to research properly, to look at how we are going to really tackle the issue of corruption, whether we are doing enough, whether by just matching like people did last week will be sufficient. And I want to encourage you, if such topics like that are formulated, please research properly, do your best. The teachers as well help our students so that they can formulate good arguments. So it just not help you all to debate and win the competition, but also helps everybody in our community to start really discussing how corruption can be put to an end. In our city, as governor of our city, I'm sure you will have a lot of interesting topics to debate. Whether we should continue the boy ban, whether we should how we should improve safety and security in our city, how we can change the image and the culture of our city, how we can make it a better place for you young people in the future. I want to encourage you all and the organizers to start thinking about those type of topics that are relevant today, that are critical for us, that are important for you all young people too, that we need to discuss publicly, that we need to raise, that if Parliament is not raising it, you all, our children and our people must raise it so that it becomes a public issue, and maybe hopefully those of us in Parliament can start to take it seriously and do something about it. Unless public are debating it, maybe politicians we think that it's not an issue. People are not worried about it, so why should we deal with it? So these are the type of challenges that you all can formulate and debate and raise, and I'm sure it will be very, very, very lively this year. But I'm happy to be our guest of honor to once again launch this school debating competition. Congratulate everybody. The winners of last year, Kila Secondary School. You will be up against all your colleagues in the city and the central province and around the country again. I hope you be able to defend your title. But if you don't make it this year, well, you've done it last year. But maybe your other peers and colleagues in other schools are now going to really dig deep and they give you a challenge now. Coronation School of Lay, they did very well last year in the finals that was held here. I was in attendance when the finals was being debated here, and I thought they put a very, very good argument. I want to congratulate them and congratulate Kila Secondary School and a remote school, not entirely remote, but out of our city, but they're able to come in and debate passionately and win the competition. That's a big plus and a big commendation to our school from the central province. But you all our schools in the city, as your governor, I want to say there's no reason why you should not win the competition. You are in the center of all the information, all the technologies are here. Internet is there. You all can access it. Don't spend your time on the social network like Facebook and all this. Some of the time unnecessary type of social networking. Get into the real, networks that you can get good information from, and come up with a high quality debate. Put us MPs to shame. That should be the challenge. Put us MPs to shame that you can come up with better debate, better argument, better points to defend, and come up with better solution than maybe me and my colleagues in Parliament. That would really be an achievement in itself, but also be putting us to embarrassment. So the next time we're in Parliament, we're thinking about the debate, and our children are much better than us. We better behave properly. So this is a challenge I want to live with you all. But I want to wish everybody all the best, all the school all the best, all the teachers, for supporting our school all the best. The participating school in the other provinces as well, in Morocco province and especially Enga province. I want to welcome Enga to the competition. I'm sure they will put a big stiff challenge. As you all know, typically all the Engans, they are very good in argument. Even if they are wrong too, they will still push it. So you all our children here better be ready. They always argue strongly. They always put their point. In rugby league, you can see Patas is supporting them, and Enga Miox is up there. I'm sure the Miox will be at the debating competition too, and they will be pushing us all the way. So don't let us down. As the governor, I want you all to do your best. I'm sure we can win it, but at the end of the day, please do your best. And to top that off, let me announce also today that NCDC we supported with 15,000 last year. Today we will double it and increase it to 40,000, Mr. Nades. So thank you everybody. Good luck everybody. Good luck to the judges as well. Give a big hand to the judges. And thank you finally to Mr. Ali and Mr. Naris for coming up with this wonderful initiative. Thank you, everybody, for having me as your guest this morning.
Please give it up for Mr. Powers Bucket once again, Governor of the NCDC. And it's a big challenge, so I'm pretty sure all the schools in NCD and also in the Central Province looking forward to vying for the top post to challenge the other schools in the other provinces.
Thank you, Chairperson Kevin. Good morning, everyone. How are you all? Looking forward to the competition? I'm sure you're all excited.
Yes.
That's the spirit. You must be proud of it and embrace it. So thank you very much. What I'll be doing today is just to brief you on the competition and also read out the rules, as the chairperson said, so we can get into the competition as soon as possible. So basically, the competition will run for 1 week. Today, the first knockout, which the schools will take today, and tomorrow is another knockout for the next lot of schools. From these 2 days, we will select the top 12 according to the score sheet which the adjudicators will give. The top 12 schools that will make it as per the scoring system will make it into the elimination round. And from the elimination, we will select top 6, which will make it into the semi-finals, also based on the adjudicators' scoring sheet. So from the top 6, that's on the day 4, we will select the top 2s, which will debate it out in the grand finals. So top 2 schools from the semi-finals will debate in the grand finals, which one of them will be the winner to advance to the national titles, which is going to be here in Port Moresby as well. All the best in your preparations. Maybe I'll read out the debate rules today as well again. The topics are all given in advance for all the schools to prepare for the debate competition. And the draws have been taken place whether a team is for or against the topic to avoid biasness. The same will be done for semi-finals and finals as well. The first speaker to the third speaker get about 5 minutes each, while the last speaker gets 10 minutes each. Warning bell will be given on the 4th minute, which the timekeepers will give you a ring, and then the 30 seconds before the final time, you will hear the ball. So you guys must be aware of that, because adjudicators will also take note of your times as well. Strictly palm cards with short notes. No other forms of notes are allowed, and no other devices as mobile phones and etc. Participants must face the audience, and strictly no personal attacks when rebutting. Of course, participant must professionally and be diplomatic in arguing the case. Strictly no mention of bureaucrats' names while arguing your case unless you want to reference to an article in the paper. The scoring will be given by the educators using the educator's sheet based on 3 areas, which is meta, method, and manner. Each individual gains the scores for presentation and is given scores out of 115. In the event that schools don't turn up, will be forfeited and the opponent school advance to the round. The forfeited school will not be invited again. That depends on the panel when we meet again. For an open and fair judgment, the judges will be prominent independent judges and not from the schools. The judge's decision is final, and also judges too will be gender balanced. The winning team in the grand final with the grand finalist prize, and also everybody else will be given certificate of participants. Consolation prizes will also be given to the teams, and also we will have to acknowledge our adjudicators and the teachers who have been working with you guys throughout the debate competition. And the grand finalist of Port Moresby will advance to IBS National Debate Competition to challenge the other 3 provinces which are going to come to Port Moresby as well. And I'm sure all the preparations are done by the respective schools and their patrons. Once again, thank you very much, and all the best to the schools, everybody else. Thank you.
like to once again take this opportunity to welcome you all to our first day of school debate competition. A number of schools will be competing today. But firstly, I'd like to introduce to you our two schools that will be taking part today. And they are the team Gordon's Secondary. Please give them a big hand. And Team Gordon Secondary, please make your way up. They're going for the topic which will be debated today. And that's a standard criteria is necessary for intending candidates for national elections. And that's something that should give us some idea leading up to the election 2011. And our next team, and they are the team that's going against the topic. It's Redscar High School team, the negative team. Please give them a big hand and make yourself up to the stage. This is Redscar's, I think, second time to participate in this competition, and it's good to see them coming back on board again to participate in the ideas debate. Give them a big hand. Thank you. You can take your seat. Let the debate begin. Our topic, once again, a standard criteria is necessary for intending candidates for national elections. At this juncture, I'd like to call on the first participant from Gordon Secondary, Ezra Jambui, to start our debate this morning to the topic on intending candidates for the national elections. Please make welcome Ezra Jambui.
A standard criteria is necessary for intending candidates in the national elections. Okay, before I start, I'd introduce the speakers of the affirmative side. I myself will be talking about the political aspects. The second speaker will be talking about the moral aspects. The third speaker will be talking about the social aspects. And the final speaker, we all know, will be summarizing the points of all the speakers. Okay. A standard criteria is simply a set of guidelines which will weigh out the importance and the quality of someone or a person, someone or something regardless of race, gender, or religion, etc. Okay, the political aspects of this. Firstly, if you go around in the world today, you'll see that to enter an institution, whether tertiary, high school, secondary, or in order to get a job, you have to meet a certain qualification, and a politician is no exception. Yeah. In the past, okay, a politician, as we all know, is a leader, someone who will stand for the rights of the people, who will be up there to make the decisions so that the people will benefit from it and not for self-gain. A standard criteria will screen the intending candidates. The standard criteria will actually bring out the best, the potential of a particular person. Okay, if we follow a standard criteria, like I said, we will bring out the best of a particular person, because right now we are not following an effective standard criteria. We are just following probably 3 of them which are not effective. One would be you have to be above 25 years of age. Second, you have to be living in the particular area for more than 6 months. And thirdly, your campaign should be held within the 1 year of the election. Okay. You might say that in the past, since independence, we haven't been using any criteria and we are doing okay. But as the future leader of this nation, I will not settle for just okay. We are blessed and rich with resources, minerals and gases, and we should be using them in a sustainable manner in order to bring out the best in this country, because we can actually move forward from this. And we cannot do this without the best leader. And right now, we haven't got a best one yet. Someone within the crowd outside, probably roaming around, Gordon's Boroko is the best, but because there is no standard criteria to bring that person up, to see, to give out the potential in that person, then that person is still roaming around, and we are getting some people who are not qualified. Okay, let me bring out a practical example. In order for you to be a pilot, you have to meet a certain criteria. One, you mustn't be colorblind. Two, you have to have a perfect health background or a proper health background. Okay, just imagine a pilot. This is based on fact. This occurred in America, in Texas. The pilot was not screened properly, as in the criteria that was there, they didn't use it properly. And that person, the pilot, got in the plane and was up in midair with hundreds of passengers in the air, and he got an asthma attack. And the plane crashed and hundreds of passengers died. Let me bring you back to the political aspects. You see, a pilot is, metaphorically speaking, is a politician. He is the person who is leading the country, which we could say is leading the plane, is driving the plane. So if we do not get the right person, if there is no criteria to screen that person, is he the best person, then the plane, as in the country, will crash. And we all will die, as in we will not survive the issues that are avoidable occurring. So, like I said, a standard criteria will bring out the best from the individual which is contesting. The individual which is contesting the standard criteria will bring out the best thing and say that the person is mentally fit, as in he or she has the mind for it and has the heart for it. And I assure you, when you have your mind and your heart working together, then you are bound for great things. And if the politicians have the mind and heart working together, the country is bound for great things.
Thank you very much. I now call upon the first speaker of the opposing team from Redscar High School, Florence White. We need to adjust the microphone, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MC. I would now acknowledge the adjudicator, the chairperson, and the judges, and everyone who is an audience today. And ladies and gentlemen, I, Florence Waiko, is the first speaker of the opposition side. Our topic is as my first opponent, the first speaker I've mentioned, a standard criteria is not necessary in nowadays. My second speaker, Jamo Eli, will be talking about physical disabilities, religion, and age. The third speaker, Raboni Logai, will be talking about gender and marriage. The last speaker, Lohia Arua, will be summarizing what the three of us have stated or talked about. My first point, before I go on to my first point, I would like to rebut back on the first speaker of the government side. Well, it is true that we should use a criteria for any politician or whatever in parliament. I disagree with what you're saying. I strongly disagree. Not an only educated person who can be sorry. My first point, I will be talking about democracy. Well, we all know that PNG is a democratic country, which we all know that. Democracy is run by people or representatives in a government issues. I will be going against HEP points that you have talked about. My first point will be not only educated men or women who can take lead in the criteria, but as an educated person, he can always be some kind of good person in the politician or parliamentary. As example, Peter Luz, he's not a well-educated person, but he was someone who stood for election for 4 consecutive elections that he won. Secondly, I will be talking about a well-educated person can only take advantages for his or her own benefit. But a person who is not well-educated, or who doesn't know how to write or read, but at least he has someone who can assist or teach him or her how to be someone in the national election. Secondly, I will be every Papua New Guinea citizen who is above a certain age is eligible to stand for the election. It doesn't really matter that, but I would like strongly to say that I go against the criteria. We don't have to be well educated to contest for the election. Every citizen has a God-given talent and integrity for him or her to stand for the national election.
Thank you very much. That's the first speaker for the opposing team from Redscar High School, Florence Waiko. Once again, just a reminder to our team, the first buzzer is a minute into your full time, and the double buzzer is the half to complete. Thank you very much. Second speaker now from the affirmative team from Gordon Secondary. Please make welcome young Job Simon.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, a standard criteria is necessary for candidates intending to stand for election. I will be speaking on the moral aspects, but first, I would like to rebut on one of the points mentioned by one of the first speaker of the opposition. She said an uneducated person cannot make a mistake. An uneducated person cannot make a mistake an educated person has made. How is that possible in any way? He or she is not educated, and the mind powers, the faculties of the mind, is not trained enough to challenge or go through such. Is not challenged. Pardon me. Is not trained to make the kind of decision an educated person would make. Now, what do we mean by moral? A moral is a sense of right and wrong, especially on the conduct of behavior. Point number one. A standard criteria will indirectly question the motive of the intending candidate who wants or wishes to stand for election. This is something like before he gets into the parliament, the standard criteria will play a part wherein the mask that he's wearing, we don't know what his motive is, right? We don't know his motive. This criteria will play a part in which it will remove the mask and we will all know whether he has good motives or intentions. In that way, when he goes in there, he does what has to be done, what has been neglected, what must be done. So why does he or she wants to stand for election? You could say that, okay, there is no changes in the electorate where he or she is, or to the country as a whole. His intention is to go in there and do something, bring changes, bring developments to our country. Now, to make this point clear as to why I said it will indirectly question his motive, let me paint a picture in your mind, an image. What I mean is that you think of the story of Judas the Iscariot. He was one of the 12 disciples whom Jesus Christ was leading. And all along he had this motive, this motive that when Christ became king, he takes over Jerusalem and became the king. He will be the chief secretary or financial officer for Jerusalem, which means that he will be the treasurer for Jerusalem. So you see, that was the evil motive or intention he had all along. And when Christ was when Christ was going to be killed, he found out his plans came to a stop. It didn't work out. So you see, all along he had the intention that when Christ becomes king, he will take over, or he will be the chief secretary, and he will be, yes, pardon me, okay. He will be the chief secretary and help to run the affairs of the kingdom of Christ. So you see, a standard criteria is necessary for candidates intending to stand for election. In that way, it will question his or her motive as to why he or she wants to stand for election. Now, point two, it will ensure that the candidate serves the interest of the people. It serves the interest of the people, and everyone gets to be served, as in, when you vote, you get something out of what you have voted for. Which is why me and my team have come to say that a standard criteria is necessary for those for candidates intending to stand for election.
Job, Simon, from the affirmative team, Team Gordon Secondary. I'd like to call the second opposing member of the team. That's young, come up, young Helai, to do his presentation. Thank you.
Before I start, the topic for our debate is a standard criteria is necessary for intending candidate for the national election. As for the opposition side, this topic is, when you eat a kind of food which is not good for you, you are like, it's allergic to you. So this, okay. You have said that only educated people will, only the ones who follow the criteria must go for the national election. But as for our side, it's not good. we are created by God, so all of us may have the chance to stand for the national election. Firstly, I would like to talk about religion. As a Christian and democratic country, we need to respect each other because we were created by God. So we all must have the chance to contest in a national election. Okay, do you all go to church? What kind of book do you read? Okay, as we go back to the book of Genesis in the Bible, God created Adam and Eve. Okay. From there, they began to produce and spread the population. And now we're all sitting here. Every person has God-given brain. Every person from urban areas to the village, they know how to think better. Nowadays, most people think that the unemployment people are useless and failures. But they are not failures and they are not useless because they have brain. No, most people treat the dependency load as grassroots, but not knowing they might have better ideas for the parliament issues. So why don't we give them chance to stand for the national election? I hope we'll definitely have some changes. My second point is on physical disability. Most people see these people as useless. They would not help or work in the house. They would just sit on wheelchair or sleep uselessly. But they may have better ideas too. Most times, people or big people or well-educated people of parliament wants to spend their time just to think and discuss about the issues in the parliament. Although the views may not be satisfied by the people suffering outside. Why don't they just come go to those people and discuss issues with these disabled people? A standard criteria is unnecessary for intending candidates for a national election. I believe this time, most young people from the age of 18 or 19 or 21, they finished their degree and diploma, but some of them want to contest in the national election, but the standard criteria don't allow them. So why don't we just give them chance to contest?
Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call upon the third member of the affirmative team to come forward with their presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Firstly, a standard criteria is necessary for intending candidates in the national elections. To make a comment on what was mentioned, the opposition mentioned that we are a democratic country. Okay, the standard criteria is non-discriminative. It does not discriminate against various factors. It's just to determine several things like why you want to be a leader, and it also looks at your background to make sure that you are fit to have that role. You also mentioned about disabled people. Because it is non-discriminative, it does not look at your physical abilities or your disabilities. It's what's on the inside that counts. So everyone has a fair chance of being a leader. The point I'm going to be talking about is the social aspect of having a standard criteria. Firstly, it limits the chance for discrimination or bias to occur. It means that when a person is trying to be a leader, they will not look at obvious things like the most obvious things to determine whether they are a leader, capable to be a leader or not. They will look at like their moral background as well as like religious factors and all that, but it does not determine straight away. A classical example of this would be the Peru presidential elections in April. One of the presidential candidates was Keiko Fujimori, the daughter of the former president. Okay, the president himself, he was convicted and imprisoned for corruption. However, when she made her intention known of standing for the presidency, they did not say that your father is a corrupt guy, you're not going to be allowed. They looked at her educational background and the reasons why she wanted to be a leader, and they allowed her to stand. And in the elections itself, she lost by a small margin to Alanta Humala, who's now the president. So as you can see, it allows candidates to stand regardless of their background. The other point would be it opens the range for candidates to stand. It does not limit them. They can stand based on what they have to offer the people. So the standard criteria acts as a guideline, but it is not final. It just picks out the cream of the crop. So the people themselves will see what the candidates have to offer, and then they will choose the leader that they want. Therefore, a standard criteria for intending candidates in national elections is necessary.
That's the third affirmative speaker from Team Gordon Secondary. I'd like to call upon Raboni Logai from the opposing team to come forward for her presentation. Thank you. I'd like to adjust the microphone.
Good day, my fellow students, the government side, adjudicators, timekeeper, and MC. I, the third speaker of the opposition side, will be going against the topic. Standard criteria is not necessary for intending candidates for the national election. I will be talking about marriage and gender. Okay, marriage. Marriage is a standard criteria, and I will be going against it because in a marriage life, a man cannot gather his wife and children, or above all, gather his family to the parliament to talk about politics, so on and so forth, because it's not necessary for them. I mean the whole family to hear the conversation. For example, if there is a rugby final tomorrow, tonight you have to be holy, you know. You don't have to go out with your girlfriend and because if you do, the game you are about to play will be disrupted, or it will bring distraction to you. Okay, back to the topic. Anyway, anyone can be a candidate for the national election. PNG is a democratic and a Christian country, so we need potential individuals to stand for our country in order to bring good, beneficial, and to develop our country and to stand for our country, PNG. Secondly, on gender. Nowadays, everyone is equal to any job description if and unless you know the job. All females can do a male's job, and that is well known. Gender equality is not counted these days in Parliament. There goes a saying that says, if you can do it, I can do it. Because we are equal. We are human beings. And we have knowledge and wisdom which was given to us by God. If you look at your house, it's like a parliament. Mothers are the managers and fathers are the bosses. Even it's too cold in the morning, you will always see a mother struggling for her family. And even it's too dark in the night, the mother even look for any kind of light to make the family live in light. Therefore, I strongly believe and say that a standard criteria is not necessary for intending candidates for national election. Thank you and hope I've given you a headache.
Yes, he certainly has given us a headache. Thank you very much. Okay, our final participant from the team secondary, from the affirmative team, please make welcome Cameron Wakihome. Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Chairperson, and good morning, I think. Yeah, good morning to you all. I would like to make a mention of 2 points, 2 very important points, and that were mentioned by the opposition speakers. One were us being a democratic country and a Christian nation, and we being God's creation, and the other about gender. Okay, first of all, God created us, and we are all unique in our own different and special ways. And not all of us are supposed to be politicians. That is one very important point that I would like to get across to you all. And second of all, gender. This standard criteria is non-discriminative, meaning to say that it is not about you being a male or a female. It is just, the criteria is there just to ensure that the leaders that get up there are just to ensure that the leaders that get up there are leaders that could serve the people. Okay, now to my points. First of all, we live in a society where, money goes around. If you have money in your pocket, then, you would say that your day would be purposeful. You would succeed. You would accomplish something for that day. So like in the business world, we say money makes the world go round. Okay, you see nowadays, politicians, or not necessarily politicians, but people, if they have money, they could just do whatever they want. For example, if they want to now just go and, the general elections is coming up, if they want to go and stand for stand for the election, they'll just reach into their pocket and say, money, yeah? And then they just go into the process of becoming a candidate. The question is, should a standard criteria be set for intending candidates? They are not up there yet, but they are trying to get them. So the criteria is just there simply to guide them, and not only guide them, but the people for that matter, they would know what is expected of the leader. If the leader says that he or she will do this, then of course he or she will do that. And that will ensure that there is transparency. You know, we talk about corruption. Corruption is everywhere. It is all around us. If there is a standard criteria set in place for all of us, or the people that are intending to become politicians, then that criteria will ensure that there is transparency. Like, for example, in the standard criteria, there is a section where it states what will be your ambition or what will be your goals when you are up there in power. Okay, if that criteria mentions something about that, and the intending candidate, if he or she fills that up, that means that the people will not be left in the dark of what is happening up there. Like, the person gets into power, and then he will work hard and he will strive hard to accomplish what was written in the standard criteria. So you can see that a standard criteria is really necessary. And I would like to make this recommendation. I will keep this short, sharp, and simple. I would like to make this recommendation. You see, about the point that I have just made, it is not all about money. If the criteria would involve a section where the intending candidate would put down his or her aspirations, then you could see that the people would not be left in the dark. And if the people are not left in the dark, then there is transparency, as you could see, plain and clear. And also, if the standard criteria could be written in a more Melanesian way, and a more, let's be realistic. You see, right now, there are laws set. There are laws set about what should be done, what should not be done. For example, selling buai on the streets. If there is a law set in place about no street vending, then how sure are we that these people are not going to sell buai on the street? Come on, like I mentioned, we live in a place where money makes the people, get up, stand up, and let's be realistic now. Money makes the people, want to do things. And if there is a law set that they cannot sell betonat on the streets, then how would they earn a living? How would they earn a living? How could they just sit there and then expect to get something in return, like food? But then again, you would see that if that law is set, how sure are we that they will follow it? You see, like I've said, we live in a Melanesian society where we could say that life is hard and there is also traditions to follow. So what I would also like to suggest is that the standard criteria would be written in such a way that it would have an approach, a good approach to the Melanesian society and the Papua New Guinean society as well. We as Papua New Guineans, we are bound to break the law, but if you make a criteria, if you make a standard, a law that both expresses ourselves as Papua New Guineans, I would really guarantee you that all of us will follow that. And also, I would also like to say that if the criteria is set, it should be changed constantly. Like for example, Papua New Guinea is a developing country, and we are bound to face changes along the way. For example, 5 years ago, there was not this LNG project. So if the standard criteria would be renewed every time when there is another elections, it would put in place the Papua New Guinea as it is in present. Like, for example, in the criteria, once we once there is another election coming up, then the criteria would include something of the LNG project and what would be the motive of the candidate himself or herself towards the project. So I'd say that if the standard criteria would be renewed every time, it would be good. Like we could see that there is always development and there is always something that is taking place. And also, finally, just to conclude, we are talking about democracy. Okay, democracy is all about, people choosing the leaders, who they want, who they see is fit to be in that position. Then the people decide for that person to be up there. And you could see that if the criteria is there, it is simply the say of the people, what they would want to expect of the politician himself or herself, or for the intending candidate, rather. So if the criteria is there, then you could see that democracy is really practiced.
The final speaker of the affirmative team, from Team Gordon Secondary. I'd like to call now the final speaker of the opposing team from Redscar High School, and that's Lohia Arua. Thank you, Lohia. We'll do the same thing again.
The first speaker for the government stated that people must follow the criteria to succeed. It is not true, I can tell. Because every person had the brain, as my second speaker has stated. From that brain, we can go into many things. If you were unemployment, but if you have the brain, you know what to do. And the second speaker said, moral aspects. The third speaker said, standard criteria is necessary. No, it is not necessary. The fourth speaker for the government said, more on money. Money is nothing. Money can lead you into many bad things. But you have no money, you will make garden, and that's the food where you will get. Money is nothing, I can tell. To my points. My first point is, government had created a big mistake in the Constitution, right? The human constitution is overlooked in the command role. The reasons are 18 years and above can be enrolled in the command role. B, other people must live certain period of time before they enroll in the command role. And C, the government allocate money to assist electoral commission to enroll people in the command role. Now, I refer to the Human Rights Constitution. A, the government should change the Constitution and all people who earn wages and citizens to enroll in the command role. B, the government should allow the people enroll in the command role institution without time limit. The government can allocate required money for the Electoral Commission to update the command role. The government, doing here, deny people right from voting their leaders in this country. My second point is, the rural areas population is hard hit by the enrollment in the command role. One, many people miss out from voting because their names are not in the command role. The same problem is faced by urban areas in the command role matter. For above matter, it clearly shows that the government failed in the common role matter for our country. Let me go to my speakers. My first speaker stated more on education. Yes, education is real. From education, you can earn more things to gain those areas. And from education, you are a qualified person to be in the parliament. My second speaker stated more on disabilities. Yes, more disabilities, they have head and brains. They can tell what they are thinking, and they are right. Example, in USA, there was a disabled person. He was without a hand and without a leg, but he was a qualified person. He had more degrees and he had a brain. But with that brain, he had more things to talk about. And many people rely on him to say what is right. That's why in this country, we should allow the disabled to go for the election. And I know and I believe that they will make a change in this country. And my third speaker for the opposition said about gender and marriage. Yes, women are to go into the parliament because they know what to do. They can do anything. They can sweep floor and they can clean everything. And they know what to say. But we men and boys cannot do that. We can go and bully in the community. But women are in the house, looking after everything which we create. To conclude, in my understanding, the Constitution right for the common role had abused the human right Constitution. And this is clearly a total failure from the government. With that, I now recommend the government to accept the no confidence vote and clear the office immediately. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That's the first two teams in our third series of the IBS School Debate 2011. Please give a big thank you to the Redscar team, the team that's against the topic. A standard criteria is necessary for intending candidates for the national elections. And please say big thank you to the affirmative team from Team Gordon Secondary.